because I felt I was getting violated. I've gotten violated in my life by the police. I've got hit by a police car. I've had the police steal my money. I have things happen to me. So I had a aggravation, and it was none of that. No swerving, no speeding, no nothing. It was nothing to come into my space and affect me. So yeah, I mean that's just how I felt that night.
Now, what we often cover are parole hearings, revocation hearings, commutation hearings, but this hearing that we're going to cover today will be the pardon hearing. You see, when you go through the system and then when you finally make it out onto the streets, there is one thing that you don't get rid of. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and that is the record. And that record follows you around for life, making it difficult to get a good job. Some people can't even leave the country. Maybe you want to go to Canada. You have a felony? No siree, Bob. So what do you do? What you try to do is get your record expunged. And not only that, but also hopefully restore your rights to carry a firearm. And that's what we're going to see today. We're going to see four requests to the Louisiana Board of Pardons and Paroles, four requests to expunge their records, restore their Second Amendment rights, and help them move on with their lives. These hearings, they all have a bit of a different flavor, a different approach, and some of them have surprises. So with that, let's jump in.
All right, Mr. Miles, you're here today seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in Washita Parish in December 1993, possession with intent to distribute Schedule II cocaine and distribution of cocaine. You received a 6-year sentence that was suspended and you're placed on 5 years active probation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so tell us about that, sir. Tell us why you're seeking a pardon.
Do you want to know about how it
Yes,
how I started or the exact incident?
Just tell us the circumstances.
Well, basically, in 1989, 90, I was going to Southern University. And, my mom sent me there to go to school, but I was broke. I didn't have any money, but I was working an intramural job, and I was getting like $125 a month. So on my Christmas break, I went back home to Monroe, and I noticed all my friends were having new cars and a lot of money, and I was like, man, I'm kind of broke. And so, things just stuck in my mind. I went back to school, but the next semester I ended up transferring from Southern University to Northeast Louisiana University. Now I'm back in Monroe. Now I see my friends every day. Now I'm hanging out with them every day after class. Then eventually I stopped going to class, and I just started hanging with them. Then eventually I thought about maybe I could make some money too, and that's where it all went downhill. Now the incident that happened was that I was out one night, and I think I caught a cab back to the neighborhood, and I was hungry, and I was walking to the convenience store on the corner, and a guy I know, an older guy, he stopped me and he said, T, I've been out here all night. I don't got, this, that, and man, please help me. And I told him no. I was like, no, I'm just getting home. I'm finna go to sleep. He was like, man, please help me. So I gave it to him. I say, you know this person? He said, yeah. He left. I went to the store. Before I made it to the store, it turned around. He sold it to he sold it to a narcotic agent, and then they came back around and got me. And that's how it happened.
Okay. Why are you seeking a pardon?
Because that all happened when I was 19 years old. I'm 54 years old now. Had an entirely new life. Actually, I left Louisiana after that incident. Haven't been back since. I've actually lived in Texas longer than I've lived in Louisiana. So the things that go on, I live in a metroplex of 9 million people. If I get pulled over for a speeding ticket, they run my background, they pull this case up. So now my speeding ticket turns into get out, what's in the car, this, that, and the other, every time. And then on top of that, an incident that happened, I've had someone broken in my house before, like 5 years ago. And so I moved to a different part of the city. And a year ago, in the apartments I live in now, some illegal immigrants murdered a woman and their 2 children a couple buildings down from me. So I haven't had a firearm my whole life. And sometimes you got to think about, I sit in here and think about, like, what if somebody kicks my door in? What am I going to do? I got a butcher knife, or I could jump out the back door, but I just want to have the right to be able to defend my home or myself.
Okay. All right. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater. Would you answer any questions?
Good morning. How are you? I think it's still
I'm
morning.
doing fine, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you drink now?
Do I drink now? No, sir.
Okay. Sounded a little tentative.
Well,
Okay. Let me ask you. I see where you got a DWI in 1992, 1995, a second one in 95, one in 2006, one in 2011, and you got a second offense in 2021 in Richardson, Texas. 2021.
2021, that case was dismissed because of a racial profiling aspect of the case, and the officer didn't want to show because they had it on tape of what he did and why he pulled me over, and that was thrown out. Now, everything else, that the ones you said, yes, sir. When I was young, I had a drinking problem. I mean, I just drink and, I think one or two was maybe in Baton Rouge. I came down there after Katrina to work. I used to go to the casino and play poker and, just didn't keep up with how much I was drinking, and then go home and then got pulled over. So, but I went through all of the programs, everything that they put me, all of the programs they assigned to me. I completed them all. I did all the Alcoholic Anonymous programs. I did community service at homeless shelters. So yes, I admit that growing up, I started drinking. I got started drinking when I was like 9 years old by older people in my neighborhood, and it took me a long time to get over it.
I'm still concerned about this 2021 DWI. What does that paper say that's in front of you? You didn't supply that to us.
Oh, I don't know did I say? I could read it to you if you like.
Well, yes, sir. How long is it?
Oh, no, one paragraph.
Okay, read it to me.
All right, case number M2145791, the state of Texas versus Terrence Miles, motion to dismiss. Now comes the District Attorney of Dallas County, Texas, and asks the court to dismiss the above entitled and numbered case cause for the following reason, to wit. On Tuesday, May 2nd, 2022, a suppression hearing was scheduled before Judge Nancy Mulder in County Criminal Court number 4 in the aforementioned case. The court denied the state's request for a motion to continue this case. As such, the state will be unable to present a prima facie case due to unavailability of Officer Ward. Wherefore, premises considered, it is respectfully requested that this case be dismissed. Signed, Assistant District Attorney, Dallas, Texas, Dallas County. I can't read the signature. Assistant District Attorney Ed Hartwell, it looks like, and Criminal Court Judge Nancy Mulder, The foregoing motion is hereby granted on May 3rd, 2022.
Okay, it doesn't say anything about racial profiling, it just says the officer didn't show up
No.
in court.
Yeah, because he didn't show up because when they saw the body camera, but when he did, he passed me and I had my window down, and then he looked over at me and then he slowed down and then got behind me and pulled me over. And when they saw that, they were gonna ask him, why did you pass him, then slow down? And he didn't want to answer those questions. That's why he didn't show up.
Okay, well, that's your word, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that's not written down on a piece of paper you got.
Yeah, he didn't show.
No, sir, that's not written down. What, did they do a blood test on you or a breath test, or did you refuse it?
I refused it because I didn't feel like he should have pulled me over.
Okay, you got to understand, we're here not to seek justice, right or wrong, or whether he should pull you over. We're here to determine, or I'm here, my job is to determine if you're going to be a danger to the public, or if your behavior has changed, or if you need to pardon and all that. And to be charged for DWI, then normally you have to have some, redness of the eyes. You have to have stumbling when they do the field sobriety test or the test with your eyes and all of that, and in order to book you. So I'm wondering, what were you drinking is what I'm saying.
No, sir. That's what the whole thing was, that I refused it because I felt I was getting violated. I've gotten violated in my life by the police. I've got hit by a police car. I've had the police steal my money. I have things happen to me. So I had a aggravation. And it was none of that. No swerving, no speeding, no nothing. It was nothing to come into my space and affect me. So yeah, I mean that's just how I felt that night.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Did you ever take any AA or NA meetings?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've done all that. I went to the farthest, well, I don't know, almost 2 years of coins.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones that in Baton Rouge, the DW I had in Baton Rouge, they transferred it in Dallas. I did everything in Dallas and then had to come back to court in Baton Rouge. And my probation officer vouched for everything, all the paperwork, everything that I had to prove and show to her.
And so when was the last time you had a drink?
The last time I had a drink, it's maybe been close to 2.5 close to 3.5 years.
Okay, I had no further questions.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions, Mr. Miles. I think we're prepared to vote, Mr. Prater.
Hadn't had a drink in 3.5 years. So that, and you got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DWIs. Since
I knew I had a drinking problem. Yes, sir.
yes, sir, since this arrest. My vote's to deny.
Mr. Freeman,
My vote is also to deny criminal history.
Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to grant.
It does not make sense.
With restoration of firearm.
Ms. Stapleton.
My vote is going to be to deny based upon the criminal history involving the DWIs also.
So, Mr. Miles, you didn't get the necessary votes to have a favorable decision today. So the outcome today is that your application for pardon has been denied, sir. Good luck to you.
Oh, thank you. No problem.
Wow, the DUI thing, you see, they went in there. I don't think he was expecting it. I don't think they thought that they'd pull his records from the other state, but the DUI thing, you're not in the state of Louisiana. I don't even think in Connecticut, where we cover pardon hearings too. And in Connecticut, they have an agenda to release as many pardons as possible. It's like been an announcement. They want to expunge as many records as possible. The hearings we see out of Connecticut are wild. If you want to see it, go to Connecticut, go to Mandu Channel 2 and check the pardon playlist. Those are the wackiest hearings I think we've ever covered. But enough of that. Here, there's a few. I don't believe him. I don't believe him that he's sober. Typically, when you ask someone, how long have you been sober? Try this as an experiment. You'll get a day as a response. You'll get, it was Tuesday, December 12th, and they'll tell you the last drink they had and what time it was and what they were wearing. And here it's like he's just, two year, 2.5, 3 years. I mean, it's just not believable. And the pardon board, their job in this case is just to try to feel out honesty. And even his initial crime that he spoke about, how he got his sentence, he told someone where they can buy it, and they bought it, and he got, it's possible. It is possible, but it didn't feel authentic. But even then, had he had a clean record, I think that they would have granted it, but you're not going to get that from this Louisiana board. And now here's something interesting. The case that we're about to see is somebody who has a pretty remarkable record. And the question is, will he be upfront about his crime? Let's find out.
So Mr. Creasy, you're here seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in June 2013 for simple robbery. You received a 5-year DOC sentence that was suspended, and you were placed on 5 years of intensive probation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So why don't you tell us, sir, why are you seeking a pardon with firearms, and how did you get in that trouble?
So if I may have an opportunity to just speak with you to express my remorse and share the steps that I've taken toward my rehabilitation, and explain why I believe I'm ready to rejoin society as a full citizen with full rights. First and foremost, I take full responsibility for my actions that led to my incarceration. I deeply regret the harm I caused to the victims in my community, and there's no excuse for what I did. And since I have spent every day working to become a productive and responsible citizen to contribute to society in a positive way. To those people, their families, and the community, I am truly sorry. During my time in prison, I've committed myself to change and doing all the right things to not return to prison. Day one, I stressed about being there, and by day two, I made a vow to never return. So once I got the opportunity, I enrolled in school, and while I had a high school diploma, I became a tutor in the school and found that to be a positive, engaging, and useful expenditure of my time there. I established an agreement with the instructor to help folks during class with assignments and homework, and even tutored through 2 GED testing courses, while I directly helped a handful of students obtain their GED while they were in prison. That program was essential in cultivating my passion for helping folks, and I left prison with that passion. While in prison, I maintained a clean disciplinary record, and upon leaving prison, I paid my restitution in full and had no issues with my parole officer, even getting off parole several months early and prayerfully not returning to jail or getting arrested. So if granted parole, I plan to continue my decade plus of successes as a productive full rights member of society by living happily with my wife and family in our home, continuing to be a model citizen as a college advisor and a pillar of my community by advocating for fathers and families, making positive impacts on the people in my community. My family, my friends, and mentors are fully supportive and hold me accountable. I understand the seriousness of parole, and I will strictly follow every condition just as I did with my probation. I am not the same person I was when I committed this offense. Prison has taught me hard lessons, but it's also given me the tools to change, and I humbly ask for a chance to restore myself. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Sir, well prepared. Now, you've used the term parole, but this is the pardon process. So that's a distinctive and different process that requires the governor's approval. You understand that, correct?
I do understand that.
Okay. And so let's hear from your wife, Ms. Kenner. What would you like to tell us about your husband?
Good morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'll do this without getting emotional. My name is Cherish Kenna Creasy, and I'm here today to respectfully request that you consider granting a pardon to my husband, Daryl Creasy. I 100% understand the gravity of this situation. A pardon is a powerful act of mercy and justice, and I don't take this moment lightly. I'm here because I believe with all my heart that my husband is a man who has learned from his past, who has changed, and who deserves a second chance. He made a mistake wholeheartedly, and he has taken full responsibility for his actions, and he does not shy away from the consequences that he did face. He served his sentence and complied with all terms of his supervision, but most importantly, he has taken time since then to reflect deeply and grow into a man of integrity and accountability. He has never made excuses, and he has showed genuine remorse in not only his words, but his actions. Since his release, he's devoted himself to rebuilding his life, not just for himself, but for his family and his community. He currently works as a college advisor with the national nonprofit College Track, where he serves as a mentor to students who are fighting that good college fight to earn their degrees, many of them who are first-generation college students. I've had the pleasure to see him interact with those students, and they adore his jovial personality and his dedication to them. Hearing the stories about the plight of his students and seeing them walk across the stage in spite of any of the challenges that they face in college and life inspires me as well daily to keep pushing. He also serves as the executive director of the Fatherhood Initiative program, Fathers Matters. The organization recently participated in the legislative session where SCR 9 was signed, tasking Louisiana as the third state in this country to institute a fatherhood task force. He shows up every day in both of those roles with pride and discipline. He's not just working a job, but he has built his life rooted in responsibility. He's the first person to step up when someone needs help, whether it's our elderly neighbor across the street who can't find her car keys and she lives alone, a dad struggling to find his footing on way in parenting, or just in life in general. He shows up, he listens, and he encourages. He truly is a man of purpose, and at home, he is the cornerstone of our family. He's a present and loving husband and a committed uncle and father. His children and our nieces and nephews look up to him. They see value in him, his growth, his redemption, and what it means when you overcome your mistakes. They don't get to see the person who made that mistake. They see the man who now owns it, who's rose from it, and who gives all to being his better every day. We're asking for this pardon not to erase what happened, but to finally close a chapter that in a way reflects the man that he is today, not who he was. The consequences of a criminal record linger long after the sentence is over. A pardon would give him access to opportunities that his work ethic and character deserve. It would restore his full rights as a citizen, and it would show our future children that redemption is not only possible, but it is real and recognized. To see the full journey of the man who stumbled, stood back up, and never stopped striving to do right, I ask personally that you please consider granting him a pardon for not what he's overcome, but for what he continues to contribute every single day. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Creasy, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis. Would you answer any questions he may have?
Yes, I can.
How you doing this morning?
Pretty good, Mr. Tillman. How about you?
Good. How many kids do you have?
2.
2. How old were they when you were incarcerated?
So my daughter was probably around 10, my son 8.
Okay, so you admit to the crime.
So I admitted to the crime to be able to get out to see them. Quite honestly, their mother did a wonderful job of bringing them to visit every week. And every single week after so many months, I could not take having them ask me when I'm getting out or you know, when can we go out and do this play, bring me here, bring me food, that kind of thing. So, for
Okay.
that,
Okay, I read your file, I went through it, and you've done well, really well. There was only one question that I had was, you said you didn't participate in the crime, and in your opening statement, you said you apologized for it. And I'm just trying to find out you did it or you didn't do it.
so I admit that I was, what's the word? I was associating with some folks who I should not have been associating with. And at the time, I was involved in some things that I should not have been involved in. And this crime was one of them.
Did you do the crime?
I did not do the crime.
Okay. All right, that's all the questions I have.
So you saying that she misidentified you?
My experience with going through the paperwork in court, the witness testimonies and also the police reports, that was a strong possibility, misidentification.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry.
You know, I just was asking my colleagues if there's any other questions. If Dr. Grow could be here, what would he say about you?
That's a wonderful question. He likely echoed the sentiments of my wife. We have been colleagues for almost a decade now doing fatherhood work. But prior to us being colleagues, he was actually the psychiatrist for my son. Shortly after I got out of prison, I got the opportunity to have my children full time, and that was such a big shift. So I felt like I needed therapies, and I also figured they would need therapy since it was such an immediate shift in our lives. So both of my children had a therapist of their own, and Dr. Gross was my son's therapist. So I mean, he also has a perspective of seeing me grow as a person, as a father, and I think he would definitely say that he is quite impressed with the person that I was to the person that I've become. And then similar to what my wife mentioned around, you know, just having that restorative, full citizen, full rights opportunity to embrace the person that I am currently and the future person that I could be.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other questions. Mr. Tillis, you ready to vote?
Yeah, I'm ready. I think you've done very well. I read through your file and I commend you on what you've done. My vote today is going to be to grant
Pardon,
with firearms.
Mrs. Singleton?
My vote today is gonna be to grant pardon without the firearm because, the robbery involved a firearm. And secondly, I agree with everything Mr. Tiller said, except that your answers seem so doggone vague. When anybody was asking you, did you commit the crime? You were saying you read all the paperwork, and it was like almost you were saying, if I don't think they can identify me, which even if I did it, I'm not going to admit it. So, but still in all, with all that you've accomplished in your life since that time, I think you've done very well for yourself and for the community. So mine will be to pardon without firearms.
Mr. Prater?
My vote is to deny. I still don't know if you did it or not. I don't see how you can be remorseful for your actions and be rehabilitated and then still say that you didn't do it. I'm confused because I don't think we've really gotten the truth out of you as far as what goes. So my vote would be to deny.
Mr. Freeman?
My vote is going to be to grant without firearm. And it's just, I mean, I have a lot of concerns about you denying it also, but you've done very well since you've been up, whether you're doing it or not.
Right, Mr. Creasy, my vote today would be to deny for the same reasons that and concerns that Mr. Prater had. So today, sir, your application for clemency has been denied. Good luck to you, sir.
All right. Thank you all.
Okay, personally, I would have overlooked it. I would have granted. This is someone who clearly has been doing really well and who's earned it. The biggest mistake that he made, though, was not coming prepared. Yes, he had a prepared speech. His wife had a prepared speech, but still, there was something off. In his speech, he's talking about parole, not a pardon. That is weird. How does that even happen? How does that happen? I need to know. How does that happen? How does it say, how would you prepare a speech and use the word parole? It's not parole. What? That's so weird to me. And then not only not he put himself in the worst spot, but I still think I would have overlooked it because I would like to think that he's just not prepared, but that is kind of a red flag. But still, Lady Holly pulled some research, and there's nothing on his actual crime. But he is, there's a nice bio from the website that he was talking about. So he is there. That is part of who he is. It's not made up. The website's real. It looks, what they do. He's got a whole bio there. It's a good, it's impressive. And I don't know who the doctor person was at Mr. Notzer. I tried to find him to see if he was a person, but you've got to assume whoever that doctor person was never took the time to look over his opening statement. Would have flagged the parole thing, but maybe he misspoke. Maybe it said pardon and he got nervous. That's always possible. But it's the bottom line is, when asked about the crime, he did the worst thing, which was he was using like manipulative language. It was like, well, the documents, blah blah blah. Like, oh, they, what were the exact words? Did you do the crime? No, I did not do the crime. My experience is that it was a strong possibility. I don't know. I have to go back, I guess, and listen to it again. But the parole board called it out. They said what it was. And yeah, I think either he goes in and says, I didn't do it. I was wrongfully convicted. I didn't do it. And they might have taken that better. Or he could have just said, I did it. I mean, that would just, all he had to do was say, I did it. But taking the approach, like, it was just, let me go see.
Trying to find out you did it or you didn't do it.
So I admit that I was, what's the word? I was associating with some folks who I should not have been associating with. And at the time, I was involved in some things that I should not have been involved in. And this crime was one of them.
Did you do the crime?
I did not do the crime.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have.
So you saying that she misidentified you?
My experience with going through the paperwork in court, the witness testimonies and also the police reports, that was a strong possibility, misidentification.
You know what? There we have it. We just played it, and hey, good job on Tillis actually doing some decent questioning. But I think where he messed up, he must have just be really nervous, is when Mr. Freeman came with the second question and says, well, could did she misidentify you? And instead of him just saying yes, because he did say at that point, I didn't do it. But then he's like, well, with my experience, it's possible that, and he could be just nervous, or he's trying to use too many words, or sound like an attorney, and it backfired. It backfired big time for him. Really the one thing that I think he needed to do that would have gotten him the pardon was to have an attorney. an attorney experience with this process. We see it oftentimes where they'll make a really big mistake and hire, some rando attorney from the corner store to represent people at these pardon hearings, and they do not do anyone any favors. What you need is someone who knows what they're doing in these pardon hearings, and he would have gotten it like that. And it's unfortunate. I think he should have gotten it. Now he can come back. I'm not sure how long the cooling process is. It might be a couple years, but he can come back. But we're going to go into other hearings that a little bit different than this.
All right, and you're here today, Ms. Delcom, seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You have let's see, you were sentenced in October of 2010 for principal to simple robbery. You received a 3-year DOC hard labor sentence that was suspended, and you were placed on 3 years of supervised probation. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us, Ms. Delcom, why are you seeking, how did you get convicted of that, and why are you seeking relief?
Today's video is sponsored by Aura. Did you know companies can take months to report a data breach? On average, it's 277 days before you even find out that your personal data has been exposed. Think about that, 277 days. That means that your sensitive information, like your email, your phone number, even your financial details, can already be out there. Now, it's not just one company, but major banks and corporations, they've all experienced breaches in the past year. Maybe you've seen about it in the news. Your information could be compromised right now, and you wouldn't even know it. Now, that's why I use Aura. Aura scans the dark web and alerts me fast if personal information has been leaked. If someone tries to open a bank account or credit card in my name, I'll know right away. I have been using Aura for about maybe 9 months now. Something that they also do that really helps me a lot is keep spam callers away. That's a big bonus for me. They actually remove my name from those spam caller lists. Now, they also provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance and a full suite of tools to keep you protected. And it's all done in one app. You can try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/Mandu. And that's 2 weeks to find out if your data has already been exposed before you hear from a company months later. So why wait? Get some peace of mind and try out Aura for free. Take control of your digital security right now. And now, let's go back to the hearing.
So I got convicted of it because my daughter's dad, we was together at the time. He called me for a ride early in the morning. It was the morning that he was supposed to go work in the cane field with Mr. Lester, who's no longer here. And he called for a ride saying he didn't go because it was muddy. So I went to get him, pulled up over there. I got him. He got in the car. I pulled off from there, and the police put their lights on. So I'm thinking it's a seatbelt ticket. Get pulled over. I'm telling them they could search the car, everything. I'm like, what did you do? So they telling us to get out of the car. He's still in the car. So I got out the car. I got my hands in the air because at this point it's more than a traffic pullover because it's too many police at this point. So he's still in the car. So I'm out the car. They took us. I let them search. I gave them permission to search the car. They took us to jail. I seen him in jail when I was on my way to court. He was like, don't cop out, but I didn't know what cop out was. So I got a newborn baby at home and another child. And you're saying don't cop out. So when I got to court, they asked me if I wanted probation. I said, yeah. I didn't care what it was if I was going home that day. It had been like 2 months in jail. My bond was high, so I was like, yeah, if I'm going home, so I took probation. So when he ended up getting out, he was like, I told you not to cop out. They dropped those charges on me. First of all, I didn't know what cop out was. I'm 17 years old. So I'm like,
I didn't know what cop out meant in the first place. So cop out means don't take a plea. But that's the first thing I did when I got in the courtroom. They offered me probation. When they said home today, I was like, oh yeah, you can't go wrong taking probation. So I took it. But I didn't know it was this hard to get it off your record or this. I didn't know how serious the charge was. I just took it to go home. And he got it dismissed, but I didn't have no regrets at the time because I said, okay, I'm going home. That don't sound bad after 2 months being in jail.
All right. So your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you answer his question?
Okay, Ms. Delcom, now I read your report fully, and the instant offense, I think went down pretty much as you stated it went down. What's real concerning to me is what's happened since then. What was the direct contempt of court and they sentenced you to 60 days? What did you do?
My ex-boyfriend and I went to court. He had a used car lot and we started financing, and we went to court for a car where they didn't pay their note. So at the end of court, he asked me to come bring him get the car. So we had an altercation with the customers that had to give the car back. So we started fighting in the courthouse. After we started fussing, like the 17-year-old girl, she jumped on me because she was like, y'all not getting nothing back. But the judge with the used car dealers, like the judge said, they don't have time getting in the middle of used car dealers financing cars to people because they have other more important things going on in the courtroom than us going in there with financing cars to people that we probably know from jump not going to pay the note. So It started a big old fuss in the courthouse, and we ended up fighting, and everybody went to jail.
Okay, and then in 2018, you had a domestic abuse, battery, aggravated assault. What was that about?
That was with the same person. That was with the same person. I called the cops and told him he was fighting me, and he said she hit me too, and we both went to jail.
Okay, and was it with the same person in 2015?
That was the same person.
That was the same person too?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Have you done any community service work?
If I can remember right, I may have did community service in the past.
I have no further questions.
Any other questions?
I have no questions.
All right, I don't see any other questions, Ms. Delcom. I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, like I said, the instant offense doesn't concern me as much as what has all went on since then. Due to your criminal history and violence on the rap sheet, my vote is to deny.
Mr. Tillis.
My vote's to grant with restoration of firearms.
Thank you.
My vote is to deny the violent criminal history.
Mr. Craig.
Deny, concur.
All right, Ms. Delcom, you didn't get the votes you needed today to have a favorable decision. So today, your application for clemency has been denied. You'll have an opportunity to reapply at another date. We'll inform you when you can do that, but good luck to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Hello. Hello. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Are you driving?
I just stopped. I pulled over.
Okay, good. I just don't want you to be driving. We'll try to be efficient with your time. So, Mr. Woodard, would you introduce yourself and tell us?
All right, and we're gonna finish off with this guy. And this one's an interesting hearing. Pulls over doing his work. He's like, I'm just going on with my business, and I'm gonna see if I can go and get my pardon with restoration of firearms. But back there, and she, it's the DV cases. You don't want to have a not clean slate when you're asking for a pardon. I think maybe she would have been surprised. Connecticut, they might have granted. Connecticut's super, super lenient. They really do go out of their way to try to grant. They really hand them out like hotcakes. It's a different approach, but no, there's it's like but I am a little, they could have said, okay, we'll grant it without restoration of firearms, but they didn't do that. Personally, I am a Second Amendment person. I couldn't imagine not having my rights. I just wouldn't feel whole. It's gosh, it's I guess one thing that we might take for granted. But anyways, let's jump into this hearing.
Mr. Woodard, you're seeking today a pardon with restoration of firearms. You have a sentencing date, which was back in 1982. In Terrebonne Parish, you received a 1 year for theft, a 1 year hard labor sentence that was suspended, and you were placed on a year of probation. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell us about that incident. What happened, and why are you seeking a pardon?
Well, I was young. Well, I call it young and dumb, but I was young back then, and I was working at a store and was stealing stuff, games and stuff like that. And just something happened. But since then, I joined the military. It's just a lot of stuff now. I mean, it's like I just trying to get a pardon because like I didn't realize it was actually on my record until I started applying for like law enforcement and stuff like that jobs when I got out of the military.
Well, your case is assigned to Mr. Prater. Would you answer any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir.
I
What have you been arrested for since then?
nothing, sir.
What were you arrested for before then?
For theft.
And how long has it been since your arrest?
I think it was like about 42, 43 years. It happened when I was 17.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
I don't either. Me neither, and thank you for your service. I see you had active
Thank
duty
you.
in the Navy, 1988 to 2008, National
Yes,
Guard
ma'am.
prior to that, 84 to 88. So thank you, sir. We don't have
You're
any
welcome.
questions. We'll be ready to vote unless there's something else you want to tell us.
No, ma'am.
All right, good, smart. Mr. Prater?
I vote to recommend that we grant with restoration of power.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur. I think you've had a very substantial cleansing period.
Mr. Tillis?
I noticed the grant with restoration of firearms.
Mrs. Stapleton?
My vote is to grant the restoration of firearms, and I agree. Thank you for your service. My son retired from the Navy, and he was in the National Guard also.
So, Mr. Woodard, I concur. My vote also is to make the recommendation for a pardon with restoration of firearms. So we're going to make that recommendation on your behalf to the governor. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you guys.
And there you have it. There's like no fanfare. He's sitting there, it looks like he's driving a truck. He pulled over for the call, but just going about his business. No fancy speeches. No, like, I got this doctor to talk on my behalf. It's no tooting his own horn. Although I do think he has a lot to toot about. The board was tooting it for him. The guy's got an impressive career, record, life, a successful man, and here he was just like and you can see he just keeps going about his business. He's just going to work, doing his thing. And this is what I think we finished with: the beauty of getting your record expunged. On the governor has to sign on it. I imagine he will, and then he can go and get his law enforcement job that maybe he wants to take on. Imagine that, though. I don't know. I think I retire. Law enforcement this day and age, it just seems like a stressful thing to do. But it's I like watching these different hearings. You see all the different kind of like approaches. Now this guy, he checks all the boxes. It's interesting. I'll bring up Connecticut again, but in Connecticut they have a process where they take applications and they review the applications. We record them, but we don't really cover them because the interview is not there. But what you see is a Connecticut person, they read the application, and then the whole thing, it's called reviews. The whole thing, they might review 100 applications and approve 80 of them, and the whole thing takes an hour. But the ones that are left over that they are questionable about, they have a follow-up meeting, which then which has this interview process. So Louisiana, they don't do that. This person, you would think, would make it through that preliminary screening, and then he wouldn't have to even show up. They'd be like, wow, this is a clear, let's just stamp it and go on. Also, what's interesting about Connecticut is that they don't need to get governor approval. They have the power to do it themselves. It doesn't even need to get passed on. So they just stamp it and you're good to go. And they only bring on the worst of the worst cases to have the in-person interview. And then they usually grant after like a 2-minute interview anyways. But this was great. I mean, I think this was to think that this man with that on his record after being in the military all those years wouldn't even legally be allowed to have a firearm. That just seems totally unfair, but he went through the process, got his record expunged, and there you have it. And Lady Halleck did do research on these cases before we brought it up, but there's really nothing on them, so there's nothing to bring to you. So I'll just do the facts of the day. So let's see, New Hampshire. It may be illegal to keep a mule on the second floor of your building. It is illegal to keep the mule on the second floor of the building that is not within a city, but only if it doesn't have 2 exits. Just make sure you have 2 exits to be safe and stay off the second floor. Even reading this, I have no idea what it's saying, and it's getting me dizzy. Who has a mule on the second floor of a building? Now, I gotta assume these laws are written in a time when people did have mules on the second floor of their building. I don't know why. I mean, I guess what's a practice? I can hear like if you're doing construction, but to make it a law where someone would permanently keep, I guess if you worked, and it's like kind of like how you live in that building and there's those people who bring their bicycles up to the second floor of the building and put it there, and it's annoying. It's in the stairwell. So maybe it's like it's the bicycle here, it's like the mule. But it'd be okay if it's not in the city limits and it had 2 exits to be safe. Why does it need? I don't know. It's so interesting. I'm curious when that law was written. Here's one more. Okay. Oh, I forgot about this one. Contributing to delinquency of juvenile. Is that the one where it was speeding or something? I see. I don't know. So maybe I missed it. Anyways, let's go back to back of the day. Newton. Okay, all families must be given a hog by the town's mayor. They really stepped up the mayoral duties in Newton. Where's Newton? Newton where? I don't know. But that's I mean, that doesn't seem sustainable. That reminds me of the super mayor. Did you guys, some weird law written by someone, right, to make sure that no one else would want to be mayor? So they said every mayor needs to give someone a hog, and this person probably owned, a hog farm, so it was sustainable. And then they did. But are you guys up to par with the super mayor out of the state of Illinois? What's her name? So I don't know enough of this offhand with the names and the whatnot. But what's crazy about this is she lost the election, and the person who won the election. And do your own fact checking because I'm doing this off of memory. The person who won the election was a senator in Illinois. Now, this guy, he's such a sneaky SOB politician. He was playing chess while he saw that the super mayor raised her salary for mayor and for like comptroller. So she had 2 positions and was making about $350,000 a year, plus like $50,000 or $60,000 in expenses, which is like guaranteed. She can use it for whatever she wants. So it's almost like $400,000 a year, give or take. more than the governor of Illinois makes, by the way, to put that into, from this tiny little town in Bumbleville, Illinois. And he wrote legislation while campaigning to be made. He wrote legislation that would make it illegal for that salary to change, to make it illegal for any salary for a politician to go lower. Now, that legislation that he wrote, it wasn't passed because they're like, this is dumb. And so then what he did, he didn't give up. No, no, no. He kept the same legislation. People who have done their homework on this pull this out. He copied it and pasted it into another bill. And it was pasted on like the bottom of page 80 out of 100 page bill. It was hidden. It was hidden. And the bill had nothing to do with this. It was like maybe, I don't know, about sustainable energy or something. And it passed quietly. And then he won the position of mayor. She got kicked out. And they think, okay, we have now a new mayor. He's a senator too. He's gonna fix the problem, the corrupt mayor, super mayor, right? And then they find out that he has this huge salary, bigger than the governor. And they say, how is this possible? And they uncover that he wrote the bill, it failed. He snuck it in. Somehow lobbyists did him a favor, bundled it in to this energy bill. And now he's making a senator salary, the super mayor salary. He also got the comptroller job salary. And he's at about, give or take, don't quote me, $500,000 a year as a politician. I think he was a former NFL player. Credit for creativity, credit for, being a scumbag politician, but that is nothing short of being a scumbag politician. And this poor town. And the crazy thing is that it got some YouTube attention, it got some, tiny bit of publicity, but no one cares. They already forgot about it. It's sick though. It is sick. But he did nothing illegal. But you listen to him talk about it and answer questions in interviews, and he just does the politician thing. And it's disturbing. It really is. Politicians, I think so many of them, I think to be a politician, you have to be just a full-blown narcissist. You have to have a lot of problems. I mean, either you're like Abraham Lincoln level, right? Or you're, I don't know. Our forefather politicians, a lot of them seem to be pretty good. I know they also had their huge problems, but I guess compared to what we got now, wow. Anyways, it is what it is. And with that, I'll let you go.